All right, I feel like I gotta take a shit.
That color right there would look so good on shrooms.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
Because it's vibrant.
Oh my god.
And it's vibrant, and it like it has a gradient effect to it. Yeah, no, I see what color you're talking about.
Like on shrooms,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Radiating.
And because it's a vibrant color, and it's a gradient color to like a different color.
Yeah.
And I think when you have anything that like goes from one thing to the other, but in a very subtle way, your mind starts creating patterns and stuff, and will just go buck wild with it.
I love that.
Are
we on?
We are.
Oh, we're officially on?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. Well, yeah, I'm responding for the people. I assume they're good.
I'm eating a plum.
I have a question for you.
I think this is a plum, right? This is a plum. No?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you could call it...
Wait, no. Yes.
If it's a peach, it's like literally a black peach, which I've never seen.
Black Peach is a great name for like an album.
Yeah, the Black Peaches.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you think we have ever been visited by aliens?
I think anything's possible, but I feel like something more concrete would have come out by now. But I do think that it'll be interesting if something does come out in like the next 50 years, because everyone has a phone with an amazing camera on it, an amazing video recording system. So I'm curious to see if that changes anything, because I kind of feel like that sort of debunked the whole Bigfoot situation, and just people getting better at analyzing photos and stuff to be able to debunk it.
Remember, alien sightings coincided with amateur camcorders. So it's like people were saying, oh, you know, there's aliens. Well, now you're claiming all these aliens exist. It just so happened to coincide with the technology for blurry videos to be taken is now here. Yeah. Now that we can take super sharp videos of the sky, all of these alien claims have gone away.
Yeah. What I think is the most like fun way of thinking about it is that if they've come, they are way more advanced than us. And if they're way more advanced than us, the possibilities are endless to what they can do to hide their arrival.
Yeah, no.
So I like that.
So if they were to come here, they would obviously be way more advanced, just because we can't even make it outside low Earth orbit without it being almost a world effort. You know what I mean? Like Apollo itself was an American thing, but like Apollo 11 required the brain power of the world.
Yeah.
And like everything humans have accomplished up until the 60s and 50s put into use to get a person to the moon. But in the traditional sense of visiting us in like a saucer and all this stuff, like no. I don't think like a being would come and visit us. There'd be no purpose. There's probably a version of AI or something that they have, some sort of machine that can hide itself very well and not influence.
Or maybe they don't do AI. Maybe that's not their thing. Maybe like the way they advance as a species is like we advance as a species through technology and computers and communication, but maybe their version of advancement is like something totally different. Maybe it's like flying or some bullshit.
I feel like AI is a fundamental advancement in technology, almost in the way that discovery of
for non-humans,
controlling
though?
For every being. I think just controlling fire, like discovering fire when the first humanoid primates were able to do that, right? That was a huge technological advancement.
Yeah.
Being able to harness fire and use fire. I think AI is of that level. Of when AI is cracked, it's going to fundamentally change the way society is and the way humans are. And I think every species that evolves reaches this hurdle. And two things can happen. You can either destroy yourself with this discovery, or it can catapult you to being like an interplanetary species. So you can either destroy yourself with AI, you can create it, and then it can...
Which we are, destroying ourselves with AI.
I don't think
Probably.
it's yet to be determined, but I think... I'm not saying the path is less likely than not to do that, but... and our AI, it's so primitive compared to like an actual conscious, man-made, human-made being. Because when it comes to intelligence, what makes humans so special is that we can think and we can perceive and we can think about death and we can work together and all this stuff. Imagine creating some sort of AI system that learns on its own, that evolves on its own. That would be world-shaking and world-changing. And that can either destroy us or it can fundamentally change us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives me a question which doesn't actually have to do with AI, so sorry to segue. But am I wrong to assume that no other countries go to the moon besides us?
I think it costs a lot of money.
But other countries have money.
I think when we went to the moon, when America went to the moon, the budget of NASA was like so high.
Do we like own the moon in a sense?
So there's a law saying that nobody can own outer space.
Okay.
So you can plant your flag or whatnot, but you can't claim land. I think. Well, what do you mean by build? Like build on a planet?
Can you build something on the moon?
I think so, but no government can claim it. I think that's the law. Tweet at us if I'm wrong, but I think the rule is you can build, but you can't claim the land underneath it. I think so. It's not like we can go and
So
now this
else
is
could
another
go
state
and tear it down and put up their building.
Well, that would still
if they
be
wanted
destruction
to.
of that country's property. Not to say the building isn't owned by the United States, but to say like this is my land. Okay. Like I have a land deed. I think you can't do that. Okay. I bought 2 acres of land on the moon.
Yeah, my friend Cal, shout out Cal, he listens. Yeah. He bought me 2 miles or 2 acres.
2 acres,
it's
yeah.
Probably the same exact thing. And you get like a certificate.
Because I don't have a college diploma.
So I have 2 acres on the moon. I know every time I tell someone this, they're like, "You can't do that. That's not a thing." Who? Why? Who? What? Where? When? Why?
This guy has it.
This is so funny to me because no one knows what I'm talking about.
Do you know the neighborhood you're in?
You think I'm lying? No, I don't.
My neighborhood is the Sea of Clouds.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And it faces the earth. So I'm in. I have a great view. Moon.
Okay, so this raises a great question. So this was illegal. This was like bullshit.
So that's the Sea of Clouds. I own land. I own land right here. That's where I own land.
I hope we're neighbors, Joe. We can build a community pool together.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's like my dream to swim on the moon. Wait, so I didn't buy it, but my friend and you were swindled, right?
Pretty much.
How? But it was like this official. Wasn't it like an official certificate from like NASA or something?
It's like or from some sort of like organization. I don't know.
And I want to be very clear. They did not word it like you were just sponsoring. They were like, "These are yours. Have fun." Her light just fell off.
The aliens.
But also, it looked really funny. It looked like it was doing a cartwheel. It looked fucked up.
Little technical difficulties in the studio.
That's never happened before. I hope it's not bad luck.
Your foot. You stepped on the cable.
I've been stepping on the cable the whole time we've been recording.
I think you yanked on the cable.
Alright. I guess it was my fault. That looks so funny. It was just like...
Alright, we're good.
It was like a tumbleweed.
Yeah, okay, maybe there's some sort of secret society that doesn't want us talking about how it's fake to buy land on the moon.
Alright, so then my question is, do you feel like a landowner? Because I kind of do.
Yeah, I mean, so... I think I still have this certificate somewhere. My plan was to frame it like a diploma because it looks like a diploma.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Literally same everything you said, because I don't have a diploma either. But, like, I really want to look into this now. Maybe I'll look into this and on the next episode go through things I found, because literally, if you're not allowed to own the moon, we should get a refund, maybe. We should ask for a refund.
I'm sure there's fine print that says
this is a joke.
Yeah.
You're just buying this piece of paper.
It's almost like those fake scratch-off tickets. Have you ever seen those? Mm-mm. You can buy fake scratch-off tickets that make you look like a winner, so you can give them to people as a gift.
Oh, I have seen those.
They get all excited.
That is...
It's mean.
Fucked up.
Yeah. It's mean.
I don't like promising people money.
Yeah.
And then not giving them money.
Yeah.
I am really confused about, though, why no one else has gone to the moon. There are countries who have money.
Money and technology. There was a moment, I could be wrong on this.
How has Russia not gone to the moon?
I think they had trouble. They had so much troubles with... Remember, the percentage of just rockets being successful to go into low Earth orbit, and that's just orbiting around the Earth, is very... It was low at the time. So, and that's with non-human or non-living
but what about
cargo.
Now?
Now, the technology is a little more... there's still a risk to it, but it's a very expensive risk to take. And also, why do you want to do it? Why do you want to allocate this huge part of your budget to put people on the moon? What do you gain from it as a country? And a lot of people don't see the benefit of the return of that.
Well, I would just think, and it doesn't mean that I'm saying it's a good idea, but I would think that, like, our country, America, is very much... Like, it's very much about showing your balls.
It's a flex of power.
In a very annoying, obnoxious way. And I would just think that by now there would be another country that has similar money as us that would also be immature like that and be like, I want to, just because, like, not for the right reasons, literally just because America did it. You know what I mean?
Well, there's other ways to flex that don't require trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I think there's ways to flex that are, you build up your military or something. And at least you have a military that's the result of the flex. Whereas opposed to a moon mission, you go to the moon, you drop some people off, they collect some dust, they come back. And what do you have to, it's almost like doing a great improv show. Mm-hmm. Once you leave the stage, you're like, what do I have to show for it? Yeah. The flex is over. I was killing it 10 minutes ago on stage.
No one
after
knows who you are.
You're done. And the thing with going to the moon is it's already been achieved. So it's not even breaking a world record.
What if there's only one flag up there? Don't they want their flag up there?
I'm sure there's more flags. They've just been remotely placed.
Is our flag still there? And
should be.
And it really was placed there? That wasn't a joke?
I do believe in the moon landing.
Yeah, but, like, the flag will just stay there for decades.
There's no atmosphere.
So it just doesn't even deteriorate.
Not only the flag, the footprints.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah,
it is actually really weird.
The dusty footprints are still there.
That's very... I get why, but that'd be very weird to happen upon. Mm-hmm. Because, that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It makes it seem... It really does make it seem fake. The fact that the footprints are still there makes it seem like it's just this fake thing.
You know, it's a fun thing to do. So the moon is basically in a near vacuum. Mm-hmm. So that means there's no atmospheric pressure whatsoever. So if you watch footage of the moon landing, of them walking around, kicking up dirt, the dirt, normally when you kick around dirt, it kind of like swirls and stuff and falls.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like the fluidness of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is basically, we're in an ocean, which is the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't think of it that way. But we are. We're like swimming right now. But the moon doesn't have that. It's just the surface and then the blackness and void of space to a certain extent. There's a very, very thin atmosphere, but it's almost non-existent. So when you see the sand get kicked up, the sand just gets kicked up and goes back down. It almost it follows a very standard path as if there's nothing there, because there is nothing there.
Yeah.
So people say, oh, it's filmed in a sound studio. Just look at the sand. That's my whole thing. The sand almost looks heavier than normal sand, but really there's just no atmosphere for it to kind of like interact and move with. Yeah. So it just goes up and then whoosh, goes right back down. Yeah. If you notice when they're putting up the flag, they keep saying the flag is waving. Really, what's happening is the pole is shaking, which makes the flag move. But if you watch the movement of the flag, it doesn't interact with anything external. It's just everything. All of the movement from the flag is from either the pole or the astronaut putting it. It's very weird to look at a vacuum scenario.
Yeah. Did you ever hear about this guy? I don't remember what his name is, but I think he's either Swedish or German or something. He's not here. He's some type of European, I think.
Foreign, I think is the word.
Yeah, he's foreign.
He's not here.
He's not here. He's not upstairs. He's not downstairs. He has plans, or he has the blueprints of plans to make this roller coaster that kills you, and it's specifically for to be able to kill yourself peacefully. Like if you have a terminal illness or something, you get on this roller coaster. And part of the joke is, well, it's not a joke, but that's just how I explain it. Like,
you always want to go out in a gag.
Part of the joke is that while you're on the particular dips and turns it takes, is supposed to do something to your brain chemistry to make you experience euphoria. So it's supposed to give you the utmost euphoric sense of being right before you die. And please make this roller coaster, because if you know you're going to die, how could you not want that way? Who wants to die in a fucking bed in a hospital with people crying around them?
Do you believe in
Rollercoaster.
assisted suicide?
Of course.
Same.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm an American, and if you don't, you're not an American.
I think you don't believe in freedom if you don't believe in assisted suicide. Because you have the right to you didn't have the right to start your life.
You didn't have a right to start your life. I believe it just
you should have a right to end
for
it.
that reason alone. Like, no one asked to be here. If
Nobody
you
asked to be born.
You should be able to leave.
The whole thing of if you don't love it, leave it for the country should apply to life.
Yeah, and I don't want to take people who are suicidal lightly. I do think
we're not advocating for suicide.
I think it should be like gun control. Like, there should be a lot of restrictions. But I think just for one example, if you're old and have a terminal illness and you have been told by a doctor that you are going to survive only a few months, not being able to have the agency to go out the way you want is fucking barbaric. I mean, it's kind of... Oh my god, did you see Midsommar?
No. Okay. You tweeted about it.
Okay, I can't talk about it then if you didn't see it. And also, it's probably too new. Spoilers, people will have my head. But... Anyway, there's a cool death scene in it. Go see Midsommar, I guess. You'll see.
And also, I feel like a lot of people are kind of leeching off of the whole medical, you're stuck in the hospital. Yeah. And you're wasting valuable resources on.
Well, that's why it's illegal, because someone's making money. If things,
you're exactly right.
All you have to do is follow anything that is weird to you or seems immoral. If you follow the money trail, once everyone has healthcare, then suicide will be legal for even if you're 10.
Are you an angsty teen? Yeah. End it now.
No, but for real though, you just follow the money.
That is it's so very true.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I didn't even think of that.
Because then that's why in European countries why it's more legal, because they have better healthcare and they understand they have more socialist
the
healthcare.
Use of they understand the use of their services, and it's better used on people that have a higher percentage of surviving as opposed to just a lost cause. Not to say
it's fucked up.
We
just pretend everything is about Christianity here, and it's why by Christianity it's just all about money.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
I mean, that's what religion is, just a form of... Think about it. Back in the day, the governments really weren't... They didn't... You didn't really have to follow it. So you had to, stop people from murdering and stealing. Yeah. So if you're not afraid of the government, you say that there's an invisible man that's always watching you, that if you were to murder and steal, nothing might happen now, but once you die, you're going to be set up for an eternal damnation. You're going to be set up to be in hell for eternity, being tortured. So you have this unseen fear of oh shit, I can't murder, rape, or steal, even though nobody's watching, because someone is watching that I can't see that will punish me once I die. So it's just an easier way to like, keep the masses in check.
I always thought it was so bizarre that there are people who actually do good things because they think they're being watched and because they think that it will help their judgment day. That is so weird.
It's weird morals.
It's so strange to me because wouldn't that, if that is actually helping you do the right thing, doesn't that kind of defeat your judgment? Like, why do you want to be in a heaven that judges you based on you getting in by the good deeds that were watched that you did?
Yeah.
Like, it is about the person that you're doing the good thing for. That's it.
Yeah.
It should be it.
That literally is the teaching of Jesus.
Yeah, it's like, don't
be good to be good.
Don't be watched. Yeah. Don't tweet about it. Don't make it your dinner conversation, the $1 you gave to someone on the street. Just like, do these things because
Steve Harvey had
be like a person.
Steve Harvey has a compilation that's like kind of went viral of him being like, I don't trust someone who's atheist because I don't know their moral barometer. Like, I don't understand why if you're atheist, then I can't trust you because I don't understand where your moral barometer comes from. It's like, well, how about, so you're saying if you weren't Christian, or let's say you found out that definite proof that God doesn't exist, you would just start murdering and stealing?
Yeah, it's so weird.
You need to be oppressed in some sort of way?
Yeah.
I don't know, not to say like religion, I don't know. There's, you can have faith and that's fine. And there's people that like in their time of need, they like it feels good to pray. It feels like you're speaking to someone who's listening. And I get that. There's like a chemical reaction in the brain that you feel like you're being almost like loved and taken care of.
Yeah.
And I get that side of it. But then there's the side of it that gives it such a bad name. They use it to oppress other people. They use it to stop people from getting married or from dressing the way they don't want to dress or acting the way they don't want to act or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean,
religion's always been used to oppress people of a certain... It
is used to oppress people, and at the same time, it's like, religion is just like life in the sense that it's half evil, terrible, and half great and wonderful. So it's like, in that sense, it's almost like useless to even talk about what its utility is because it's like, it's not going anywhere, and it's like... I think it is what it is kind of thing. Yeah. But it is weird. It's just kind of funny that people would ever do anything good because of their judgment day. Like, that's so fucking weird.
You used a good word. You said it's utility.
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly like to the point I was trying to make earlier. That like back then it just made sense because you needed to control the masses somehow. Mm-hmm. And what's a better way to do it than to say like, don't do this or else you're going to be judged later on. And now we've reached a point, I'm not saying the whole world has, obviously we're all on different journeys, different regions in the world are on different journeys, but like that, we could be phasing out of that part of human evolution and human progression, that we don't need religion anymore.
Do you think there will be a time in the near future that there won't be any?
Totally. Yeah. I think it's going to take... a couple decades, if not a couple centuries. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's the way.
And you think for all countries?
Again, we're looking at like astronomical scales. Mm-hmm. Like I think in a couple centuries, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I also think that this might be a peaceful thing. If we do become like an interplanetary species at some point and don't destroy ourselves, we would become one world.
But what about... I sort of agree, but I also sort of don't agree because what about cults? Like, there's always going to be cults.
Well, there's always going, but remember, there's always going to be exceptions.
Cults, and there's always going to be religions too.
Totally. But remember, there's a lot less of that now than there used to be.
Is there?
Totally.
You think there's less cults now?
Oh yeah, there's a lot. I mean, now there's the spotlight's on them more, but the world was nothing but cults back then. Little towns were cults.
What's back then though?
100 years, 200 years, 500 years. Like when you're even like a little city would have its own little. How about Christianity? Even towns would have their version of Christianity.
Yeah, I don't think it's like technically defined as a cult though.
I know. That's yes, but I'm just saying like cults is I think even more susceptible to like fractioning and being created with like little groups of people, like like there's a bunch of like isolated little cults, and then they break off and they form two small isolated little cults, and then like I watched a documentary on the flat earthers, and they were saying like people that don't believe the Earth is round.
That's what I mean. I feel like there aren't less cults now because there's so many just even internet cults.
But I think it's just it's an emergent property of what's going on. Things are gonna happen. Things are gonna branch off, but they'll die off. So the flat earthers, there's a whole movement. The Earth is flat, and then there's like the CIA is trying to hide it, and then there's a piece of it that broke off and said, no, we actually live under a dome, and the moon's a projection, all this stuff, and they believe that the other people in the flat Earth are sent by the CIA to say they're wrong, so they actually fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, of course.
And so like they fraction off
just
and
like
stuff
Christianity
like that. That's just like religions, just like cults. They all do it. It's like a very human thing.
That's what I kind of meant by I don't know if religions will ever die off because that's just how we are.
Well, you know what it's called? It's called tribalism.
Yeah.
And that's a very human thing. It's to like even
that's why
political
I feel like
parties
it'll never die.
Political parties are the same thing. Like you want to be part of a tribe. So you join a specific political party
That's what I'm saying, Joe. That's why I think it's never going to
I
die.
think it's never going to die, but I think it's the impact of like religion on people's day-to-day lives will definitely be less impactful than it is now. That's the argument. That was the original argument.
I'll queef to that.
Yeah. Queef.
I'll queef. I will queef.
Do we all
to that.
queef?
Queef.
Queef.
Queefer Sutherland.
And again, I'm not saying this is a tomorrow thing. This is like could be centuries in the future.
Yeah. Did you have like a favorite cult as a teen that you would like to read about?
Did I have a favorite cult as a teen that I liked?
It's hard to pick just one.
About? I wasn't big into cults when I was younger.
Okay. That's probably for the best.
Yeah, it sounds like a you question.
I know.
Was there a favorite cult you were into when you were younger?
Well, I think the one I was most interested in reading about was like the Manson Family one, only because
I
was already obsessed with the 60s and like Woodstock and that like iconography of it all. Like, the way it was in my head was like, I'm from a different time. I was supposed to be from that time. And it like depressed me that I wasn't. So I was sort of just like obsessed with all the music from that time and just the way movies made it seem like living in that time would be every day, even though it probably wasn't like that at all. And so the Manson cult was really interesting to me because it took all of the like idyllic, I never know how to say that word, idyllic things about the 60s and made it into this like dark gothic thing, but also was like super fucked up and like racist and shit.
Totally.
Like when he
was trying to start a race war.
Yeah, like he's a fucked up motherfucker. Yeah. And I just thought that was like, it naturally had my attention because of like the time period it was in. So
and it's the complete opposite of what the hippie movement was. They're all about expressing love, and you have this dark hatred thing about a race war that was going on.
Yeah.
Are you excited to see that Quentin Tarantino movie?
Yeah.
Same.
I do. There's a drive-in in New York, like upstate New York. I really want to see it outside. I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It was so. Did you ever listen to his music?
Charles Manson?
Yeah.
It's very much like the Beach Boys. Didn't he like pitch stuff for Brian Wilson?
Yeah, he was like friends with them and would
Brian
like
Wilson.
hang out with them and like write with them and shit. But I had like all of his music on Napster when I was a teen because it was like when I was a kid, I didn't really know about the whole race war aspect of it, so I didn't know even how much worse it was. So as a teen, I was just like, cult leader, cool, and I would like listen to his music and stuff.
Yeah, they like stabbed a pregnant woman. They multiple times in the belly.
Yeah, Sharon Tate.
She was the pregnant one?
Yeah, it was Roman Polanski's wife. He was in another country filming a movie. And so Manson wasn't there for the murders. Like, he sent his people, and they cut out her baby.
Ugh.
They didn't just stab her; they cut out her
So
baby.
fucked up.
Yeah, it is really crazy. It's like the craziest murder you could think of. I wonder
if there's going to be like
one of the craziest murders you could think of.
I hope that's not a scene in the movie.
I don't think it will be, because I think it's
That would be insane.
I don't think it will be, but it's Quentin Tarantino, so
yeah,
I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised at the same time. So
Same.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. That whole time period of like the '60s just felt so free. Mm-hmm. Right? I was the same thing when I was like younger. I thought I wanted to be like in the '60s.
Yeah.
And be part of that movement. But here's the funny thing: like, oh, there's a whole movement happening in the '60s. I want to be a part of it. But right now, there's a whole movement happening.
Yeah, I
right?
know. That's
I feel
why
like,
it's all kind of fake.
Yeah, generations, like 2 generations from now, they'll be looking back at these times and be like, wow, remember that the whole Donald Trump thing? And depending on if we fix this or not.
Yeah.
It depends on what happens. The
Yeah.
future's not written. As I learned from The Hills.
The rest is still unwritten. Are you watching the reboot?
No.
Okay, I am.
Didn't they end it saying they were fake last time? They ended it showing like...
Yeah, they did. I never saw the ending, but I had
Yeah.
heard that. So it is funny that they're doing that, but like it's so hard to accept myself watching it, because it's like legitimately Heidi and Spencer a few years ago were making videos with Alex Jones. Like, they will do anything.
They're MAGA guys?
I don't know.
Or they just wanted to be on TV?
They will do anything to be in the spotlight. Anything. Even making videos with Alex Jones. So, the fact that...
Some can say the same thing about Alex Jones. He will do anything to be on the spotlight as well.
But that's
his brand.
That's exactly my
and that's her brand.
point.
Yeah, and his brand.
Of them teaming up together. They're like the same sides of a coin. And so watching The Hills, like them being back on this show is like their dream coming true. They've like been trying to do this forever, or start any kind of new show that gets popular. So giving them a view is a little painful, and I really feel like I shouldn't be doing it. But shit, it's just easy listening, you know? Nothing happens. It's just stupid.
I think there's a lot more MAGA people, especially in our community, than we think.
In our community?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
big time. I'm not gonna start accusing people like I'm accusing communists,
really
like I'm Joe
think
McCarthy. Yeah, I do.
I think that there's probably people who hide their conservatism, but I can't think of one person who voted for Trump.
I don't know if they voted in 2016, but I think they didn't like him in 2016, and now they just hate the resistance to Trump.
Yeah.
And they're like, now they like Trump because they hate the resistance. It's almost like the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not that they're just indifferent to him, but since other people hate him so much, they're like, you know what, I kind of like this guy because he pisses off
yeah.
people that don't like him.
That is really short-sighted, lazy
Totally.
thinking. Because
There's a lot
I
of that.
understand the impulse, because there's so much inauthenticity in people like getting mad about stuff just for attention sometimes.
And they're
it's
they're looking for the spotlight too.
But it's like,
There's a lot of
yeah,
that.
you're being a contrarian for your own points, and that's just as gross or grosser.
Yeah.
That shit's whack.
It is whack. But yeah, I think it's funny. I think there's a lot more people that agree with Trump than every time they're always
That
like
we
the country
know?
that we know and that are
gotta
just in the
talk about
country.
this later.
I think there's like whenever you watch the news, they're always like the American people are silent, and it's almost that silent majority thing of like, except now it's on the left. It's like the American people don't care for Trump and da da da. I honestly think there's this viewpoint has been in a lot of people for a long time. It just hasn't been allowed to be visible.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think he came along and made it okay.
Yeah.
And he is, quote unquote, hashtag winning in a certain extent that nobody can get rid of him.
Yeah,
You would think
after he said after he was at the rally where they said about Ilhan Omar send her back, his ratings went his approval went up.
I think
his fucking approval went up.
Because now that it's showing that now it's really showing how much he can get away with. And it's not even get away with. It's just he's not even being punished at all. The Democrats are useless.
Yeah.
At this whole point, it was like Nancy Pelosi, she's going to play some 4D chess, and she's showing to have no game plan. And yeah, I think a lot of people like Trump's whole thing. Yeah.
It's so depressing that because of the urgency to get him out, that people are gonna bet on Joe Biden, and that just him being so high in the polls is so exhausting. And it's
I don't even believe that. I think if
he's winning a lot,
but
sometimes Bernie is.
I don't believe these polls.
Yeah,
I truly
that's
don't,
true.
because remember in 2016, polls were saying a complete different other thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't think the temperature of the country is actually being taken. I think the pulse of the Zeitgeist isn't being felt.
Yeah,
especially by the mainstream.
I'm not taking it as
media.
Bible, but
yeah,
when it's in your face all the time, it permeates you.
Totally, it's an agenda that wants
your
to be
consent,
set.
kind of.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's sort of if enough people say it, even if it's not true, it feels true.
Yeah.
And it's just most of the polls are showing that he's, even before he announced, was winning. Mm-hmm. And I just I just want someone else to beat his ass. I don't want it to be him. And I don't know. Nothing I'm going to say right now is going to be
And the thing is, let's say he wins, and then if he wins the election, that means there won't be an actual progressive that's going to run, because he's going to win. Let's say he wins, and then when it comes for his re-election, nobody's going to run against him that's a progressive, because you can't go against the president of your party.
Yeah.
So then that's going to be, let's say he loses, then it's another 4 years of a Republican, and then you'll have a progressive. Or let's say he wins a second term. So that would be 8 years, and then maybe a progressive will run, possibly. And then what year are we in? 2028.
I can't wait until we have more parties, because so much time is wasted blaming the Democrats for not being unified and being so split. But it's because there's nothing similar anymore between the old school Democrats and the new school Democrats. It's of course you're going to be split.
Yeah.
It's people don't want to compromise 80% of what their values are just to be labeled a Democrat. No one gives a shit about that. So it's as soon as we have two different parties that are, two separate parties that mean, I don't know what it would mean, but iron that out later.
But the right would have to split. So here's the problem. So let's say
the right should split too.
The right would have to split too, because then you would have one party that represents the right, and then one party that represents center left, if not center right, and then one party that represents the left. So that vote between those two parties would always be split, and that would just be that means they will never win. It would always be someone on the right winning.
Well, they can do whatever they want, but there has to be more than two parties.
Yeah,
they're just
the only thing they have in common is sanity.
Crazy.
You mentioned, they almost have nothing in common anymore. They basically just sanity and what reality is. Mm-hmm. That is literally the only things that keep progressive Democrats and regular Democrats together, because the right just doesn't have a grasp on reality. Global warming, let's say climate change, for example, it's pretty much fact.
Yeah.
And to have elected leaders of their party say, well, it's not all in, and well, we can't, bring a snowball to Congress.
I was just gonna say, throwing a snowball. Oh my god.
Trump, tweeting, "It's pretty cold outside. Where's this global warming?" Who's the president? Which means he's the leader of his party.
Yeah.
If he's the president. Yeah. Cray.
We need more parties. We need to party.
I pitched a line for a show once about a mayor. It was Dylan Evans and Neil Sharma's show.
Yeah.
And the line I pitched was, because they asked, like, what political party are you? And it was about, like, summertime. And the character goes, I'm not part of the Republican Party, and I'm not part of the Democratic Party. I'm part of the beach party. And everyone goes, yeah! And I think about that line all the time. So we
you
need
think about the line you pitched all the time.
Yeah. Because it came organically. Like, Dylan Evans and I were kind of just spitballing ideas on how to end this thing. And it was one thing I pitched just to end this, like, character arc. And I was like, I'm so happy with myself. Because it's so dumb.
Did everyone vote for you?
It's so dumb, but it also concluded. Yeah. Like, it did its job in the dumbest way possible. And that made me so happy.
That's good.
Yeah.
3 cheers.
Yeah. All right.
Wow.
We got to go.
Did another episode.
Another ep.
For all of our children.
Remember to Venmo us. Send us to Area 51.
Guys, we have to get to Area 51. Yeah. If we don't get there, the information you get is going to be a little lopsided.
Yeah. So send us there. We want to interview people. We want to go there. We'll bring you an alien part if we can.
Steal some aliens. Steal some paperwork. Yeah. Steal some
paperwork.
Classified documents.
Some business cards.
Yeah. Stuff like that. We'll steal some hand soap from the bathroom, you know.
What kind of hand soap do you think? I think it's the kind that has like little balls in it.
No.
That feels like alien technology to me.
I don't think so. I think they have like that generic white.
The powder?
No, not powder. I just think they have like that generic white that's sort of like you go like this
and
it's like burp, burp.
Yeah.
Or maybe they have foam. Foam is popular.
That sounds like alien technology.
That sounds like alien foam. I think foam is popular probably for government things because you rinse it off for less time because it's so much more like.
But the government things aren't really known for their efficiency.
Yeah, that's true.
On that note,
that's true.
Thank you all.
Thanks for stopping by.